What's up, strongest men, women, and children from blocks all around the world? I am my block's strongest man, and after all of the great engagement I got from my first video on the Eddie Hall versus Thor Bjornsson boxing match, I thought I'd better come back and give you round-by-round predictions and exactly why, based on the 4 tenets of judging boxing rounds, I think one man will win each round versus the other. Ciao, homie! Welcome to My Block's Strongest Man, where we bring attention to the world of strongman and show you how you can mimic those activities using everyday objects all around your own property. If you haven't done so yet, consider subscribing and remember to hit that bell button for all notifications so you'll know whenever I provide all the valuable content every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So without further ado, on to today's topic. Let's have a look at 2 different scenarios. One would be by the off chance that the match goes all rounds, and I don't know how many rounds they're going to fight, so we'll assume 12. I think because they're not professionals, it won't be sanctioned for 12. It'll be 6 or something like that. But let's just assume 12. I'll go through why I would think each man would win each round based on specific criteria that judges are looking for in a boxing match, and not just generally saying Eddie looks faster or Thor looks like he could keep him away with a jab. I'm going to give you specific analysis, and then after that, I'll go into what I think will really happen, which, again, is not a 12-round fight that will go the distance. So let's go have a look at one of my famous spreadsheets that you all love. So here's what I think will happen if they were to fight all rounds. And what we're judging here are the 4 tenets of judging boxing. So one is effective aggression. Effective aggression is defined as being aggressive, giving the impression of dominance, but you want the boxer to be landing shots and not constantly getting countered with their aggression. So judges look for effective aggression where the aggressor consistently lands punches and avoids counter shots while being aggressive. Second one is ring generalship, which basically means the fighter who is actively able to execute his or her plan. So when you're watching the 2 guys fight, which guy looks like he's getting his way and which guy looks like he's reacting to the other guy's way. So that's ring generalship. Floyd Mayweather is a perfect example, and I bring him up a lot. I am a fan, but Floyd Mayweather a lot of times is in a defensive posture because he's luring somebody into traps. So he's almost always getting his way, whether he's being aggressive or not. So that's what ring generalship is. Defense, how well a boxer is defending himself in a variety of different ways. So defense can be footwork, it can be slipping, parrying, it can be blocking. So we'll look at how well I think each man will do in each of those different categories. And I just want to first say it's really hard to predict 12 rounds of a fight and who will get tired when and who will change approaches when. It's much easier to look at how a fight that already happened was judged and score it based on the mechanism that I've created that I'm just about to show you, where you can say, do I think that round was judged properly or not based on what the performance I already saw. That's way easier than trying to predict, but we'll do it anyway just to see how close we come. So hard and clean punches is the 4th and final thing that judges are looking for. That's kind of self-explanatory. Hard and clean. So 2 different parts to that. So how do I think this will go? Well, let's go back here and let's zoom it in a bit. These numbers are a little bit small. So the way that I've broken it down is those 4 tenets. So you have effective aggression, and I broke that down into being aggressive and that aggression being effective. So if you're not aggressive in the first place, you don't even have a chance to be effective. Like I won't give a guy effective aggression if he's not aggressive. That's kind of the baseline to even getting the opportunity to score these points, right? And by the way, I'm using a 10-point must system, 10-9, unless somebody gets knocked down. And I have not put any knockdowns here, so I may do another prediction video as the prep goes forward, but in this particular scenario, I don't have anybody getting knocked down. I have going the distance with no knockdowns. So 10-9 would be the person who does that thing better of the 4 things we described that are being judged. They get 10, the other guy gets 9. Simple as that. Ring generalship, again, it's just a 10 or a 9. Whoever did that thing better in that round. Hard and clean punches, I've broken down into hard and clean. So you can have clean punches that aren't hard, and you can have hard punches that aren't clean. So I tried to judge how I thought that would go for each of the categories. Defense, I broke down into the different pieces that we saw in the description, which are footwork, blocking, parrying, rolling, and slipping. And then I get a total for the round, kind of averaging all those things together to see how who I think won that round. So, round 1, effective aggression. I don't think it's a secret that Eddie will be the more aggressive boxer in every round. Or most of them, unless he gets tired in some of the rounds. So effective aggression, I think Eddie will be more aggressive and more effective in his aggression in round 1. So he gets a 10-9 in aggressive, a 10-9 in effective, which averages out to a 10-9 effective aggression in Eddie's favor. Going to ring generalship, I think Eddie will get his way. He will push the action. He will make Thor back up. Thor may be able to keep him off in the first round. I think the first round is where they'll feel each other out for about a minute or so, but after that, it's going to be aggression coming from Eddie. Thor will hold his hands out, trying to keep him at bay, and will be effective in that to a certain degree, but you can't call that ring generalship. You can't call that Thor getting his way. It's more reactionary. So ring generalship goes to Eddie. Hard and clean punches, I think Eddie will have the harder punches and the cleaner punches in round 1. So 10-9 Eddie there. And then defense, I had some portions for each. So I think Thor will have the better footwork. He will move around the ring better. And footwork can be forward advancing, retreating, sidestepping. It's a variety of different things that we didn't go into that level of detail here to make it even more confusing. But I think overall Thor will have the better footwork in round 1. And I think he'll have the better blocking in round 1. I think that Eddie will parry better. So parry meaning deflecting punches with the glove. I think nobody will roll well in any round. That's why I have 9-9 here for every round. So rolling, again, like Floyd Mayweather does with the shoulder roll. So basically it's deflecting a punch with a part of your body that doesn't count as a clean shot, not the head of the body. So rolling a punch off your shoulder, for example. I don't think either of these two guys are going to be particularly good at rolling. So neither one. And then slipping, I think Eddie will slip, meaning sidestepping. I think Eddie will have the better slipping. So some parts of defense to Thor, some parts of defense to Eddie comes out at a tie. So I think nobody gets defense in round 1. Eddie wins effective aggression, ring generalship, and hard clean punches, 3 of the 4 things. So he wins round 1, 10-9. Going on to round 2, you see a similar pattern. I have Eddie winning effective aggression by being both more aggressive and effective. I have Eddie again with the ring generalship pushing the kind of action that he wants to push. I have Eddie winning with harder and cleaner punches again. And then defense, now I have Eddie taking the edge on defense in round 2, where his type of forward-moving and sidestepping footwork starts to dominate and overtake Thor's ability to move backward and away. I have Eddie winning in the blocking, winning in the parrying. Again, nobody rolling well, and slips for Eddie, so defense goes to Eddie. All 4 of the judging criteria go to Eddie Hall for round 2, 10-9 to him as well. Round 3, similar situation. He wins effective aggression. He wins ring generalship in the same manner. He wins hard and clean punches in the same manner. And defense, I have Thor actually getting his blocking up to try to deflect some of the onslaught that's coming toward him. So Thor does the better blocking. Nobody does the better rolling, but Eddie does the better footwork, parrying, and slipping, so he wins defense again. Round 3 to Eddie, 10-9. Round 4, again, effective aggression, Eddie 10-9. Same thing in round 5, same thing in round 6. Ring generalship, again, I think Eddie wins in all 3 of those rounds, 4, 5, and 6. And I'm grouping 3 together because I have a little bit of a difference after round 6. Hard and clean punches, Eddie's harder and cleaner in rounds 4, 5, and 6. Defense, I have Eddie winning 4, 5, and 6 cleanly, so he wins all 4 criteria for rounds 4, 5, and 6, winning those rounds. So first 6 rounds all go to Eddie Hall in a pretty dominating fashion where Thor is only doing better in some facets of defense, in my opinion. Then we go to round 7. And so in round 7, we'll see I have, again, Eddie Hall winning effective aggression, and I don't think I changed that in any round. Eddie is more aggressive and more effective in that aggression in every round, in my opinion. So we won't kind of harp on that. Ring generalship. I have Thor kind of turning things around into his pattern of what he wants to accomplish with a long jab, with a couple 1-2s where he can get them when Eddie's starting to maybe tire a little bit in the middle of the fight. Thor able to, with his slower punching speed, still able to land a couple 1-2s. So I'm giving Thor ring generalship in rounds 7 and 8, kind of toward the middle of the fight. Hard, clean punches. So I think in round 7 and round 8, Eddie's punches are still harder. I think Eddie's punches are harder throughout the whole fight. But I think Thor's punches are cleaner now in round 7, where he starts to land a little bit sharper as he's weathered the storm a little bit and starts to get in some of those straight punches. I don't think Thor's going to land anything that's hooks, maybe some uppercuts on the inside, but anything wide he won't land. So he's going to land some straight punches when Eddie starts to tire toward the middle of the fight, and that's where he'll find some success. So same thing in round 8. I have Eddie landing the harder punches, Thor landing the cleaner punches. And then if we go to defense, round 7 and 8, I have Eddie winning again. So although Thor is landing more clean punches, Eddie is making him still miss lots of them with his footwork, blocking, parrying, and slipping in both rounds. He's just not firing back as many clean shots because of, the fatigue factor. Moving into round 9, I think Eddie gets a second wind. He has that big background in swimming, big lung capacity. He starts to get his second wind and comes back, regains his ring generalship in round 9, and then I think they kind of flip back and forth in the second half of the fight. Thor kind of regains his pattern of what he wants to do in rounds 10 and 11, and then in round 12, I think Eddie says, enough of this, I have to put an end to it, and he dominates ring generalship. The whole round 12 is what Eddie wants it to be. So moving on to hard, clean punches. Again, Eddie wins harder punches in every round. He wins round 9. Round 10, I feel like Eddie has the harder punches, but Thor has the cleaner punches, so it's a 10-10. Nobody gets that one. Same thing in round 11. It's kind of a tie in hard, clean punches. Eddie's harder, but Thor's cleaner. And then in round 12, I think Eddie clearly wins with harder and cleaner shots, trying to close the show. Moving on to defense, if we look at rounds 9 through 12, I have Eddie winning every round in defense in every way, right? So I don't have Thor kind of dominating any facet of defense. He's focused on landing a couple straight shots now, a couple 1-2s, and trying to pile up some points on some clean punches, and gives up a little bit on defense there. So putting all those 12 rounds together, I actually have Thor not winning a single round. He and Eddie tie on a few rounds, but that total score would be Eddie 120, Thor 112. That's my prediction if the fight goes the distance. Again, I'll have to rethink this to see if I think anyone's going to suffer any knockdowns and maybe amend this in the future, but we have, March, April, May, June, July. We have, 10 months until this happens. So I have some time to kind of amend that and think about whether I think there'll be knockdowns. As of this moment, not really. I think Eddie can take a punch. I think his movement is good. I think Thor can absorb punches because Eddie's punching at a high vector, at a high angle. So I don't know that he'll be able to take Thor down unless they get on the inside and Eddie hits some good uppercuts. But what I think will really happen now, so that was if it goes the whole distance. What I think will really happen is Eddie will win by stoppage in the 4th round due to a broken rib or some other body injury. I don't think Eddie's going to knock out Thor to the head. I have a BOB body opponent bag, and that I've trained on before, and I put it at 6 inches taller than myself, and I know how hard it is to hit an opponent that much taller than you in the head. So I think that Eddie's punches to the body are devastating. I think that they're going to cause damage. You've seen what he's done in his training with his partner who was wearing pads, a boxing bodysuit, and Thor's not going to have that. As far as I'm aware, they're not going to be wearing bodysuits. And Thor's lost a ton of weight. He's down, 110 pounds? I think at 6'9", he actually even weighs less than Eddie Hall does now. So I don't know how much of that body attack with all that torque that Eddie's throwing. And I know people are saying, they're not professionals. They don't throw as hard as Mike Tyson and whatnot. Eddie doesn't have to throw as hard as Mike Tyson to hurt Thor. And he throws hard enough. This is my opinion. He throws hard enough. I think with all that torque that he's throwing with and all that power he has, he's going to do some body damage that's going to accumulate in the 4th round. I don't think it's going to go any further than that. So these first 4 rounds, the scoring will be exactly what I showed you in the previous view, which was a full 12-round view, except stopping in the 4th round. So Eddie's going to win every round. It'll be actually not even 40-36 because you won't count the 4th round yet, so it would be 30-27, in fact, and a 4th round stoppage by body shot. I believe perhaps a broken rib, unfortunately, or maybe some, torn oblique or something like that where Thor is not going to be able to breathe properly and continue. So those are my round-by-round predictions. I see a lot of other predictions online where folks are saying, Eddie's faster, Thor's taller, and they're generalities that don't, those things are true, but they're generalities that don't take into account what judges are actually looking at when they score a boxing match. So I wanted to get on here this evening and talk through effective aggression, ring generalship, hard and clean punches, and defense, the 4 things that judges are actually looking at, to give you a mathematical breakdown by the numbers, not just a guess, but actually do the numbers of what I think is going to happen in the Eddie the Beast Hall versus Hafthor Bjornsson boxing match in September 2021. Thanks for joining me on My Block Strongest Man. Let me know in the comments below if you think I'm crazy or if you agree with my assessment or what parts of my assessment you would have done differently. I always love spirited debate as long as we do it respectfully. So thanks for joining me. I'll be making a whole bunch of other videos in this series because I know you guys all love this topic. And until next time, as always, ciao, homie. So if you like this video and want to learn more about any of the products I described during this video, make sure to check out the links in the description below. So if you like this video and haven't done so yet, please consider subscribing using that button right there. And also stay tuned for some other videos that you might love blooping up right there. This one is the one that YouTube thinks that you will like the best, and this one is the one that I think you will like the best. As always, share this with everyone, and until next time, ciao, homie.